Hey guys, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. Today's the 10 at 10. I'm Matt. Today we have the 10 at 10 for December 13th of 2022 for you. I think you're gonna love this one.
Hey, I'm Tim. Get excited. We've got an amazing 10 at 10 for you here today. We're gonna be talking about 10 of the 20 trees getting listed. Make sure you sign up for our weekly emails so you figure out about the other 10 before that 10 a.m. hits.
I can't believe it's already December 13th. We're recording this one early to get ahead for Christmas, so if you're watching this by this time, Merry Christmas to everybody. We're closing in close on that. We really appreciate our international community. Shout out to you guys. We can't ship to you outside the United States, but we appreciate you watching. Let us know in the comment section where you're watching from this morning. These live chats have been growing. Our channel's been growing a ton lately, and we really appreciate that. We're going to set a goal of getting to 15,000 by New Year's. Now that would require us to get 1,000 subs in December.
I hope we can do it.
We might can do it. We really appreciate your help. Like, share, and send this to your gardening friends and say, hey guys, check out these crazy guys. They do a daily show talking about Japanese maples. I think you're gonna like it. Let's get into the 10 at 10 a little bit.
So we'll start off down here on this end.
Ooh, this is a good one. So first,
some large 1 gallons.
Yeah, these are massive. Something for you Acer Seaboldianum collectors. This one is Kumoi Nishiki.
Yeah, this is probably the largest I think we've offered Kumoi Nishiki.
Yeah,
I mean,
we often say these are our sizes that are indicative of right now if you're watching them later. I can guarantee you later I won't have bigger ones than this. These are some of the biggest 1 gallons I've ever offered, and these go quick. Kumoi Nishiki is always popular.
It's a variegated Acer Seaboldianum, and so it has a lot of white variegation over top of the green, and then in the fall you can really get some oranges infused with yellows and pinks. I mean, this plant is spectacular. I love the Seaboldianums. What they bring is that full moon-like leaf. And Acer Seaboldianum Kumoi Nishiki. This is a newer selection from Japan that's really interesting. I remember we went to Japan, and when we went to Japan, we already had this plant.
Right.
But the nurseries in Japan were bringing this to us like,
this is our newest thing.
This is our newest thing. And this is an amazing plant. I mean, this is a plant that's a variegated, stable variegated, full moon maple-like. I mean, it's one of the most stable full moon leaf, rounded
I don't know
leaf.
of another form that's variegated like this. This one has kind of what you think of with snow kitten style variegation. It has that swirling in it.
Exactly.
It is a funky style variegation. It's consistent. This one doesn't revert. I've never seen one of these revert ever. And probably our biggest sizes we've ever had in a 1 gallon in this for sure.
Yeah.
And if I had bigger than this, they would probably go to 3. So don't wait on those.
Next up, should we tell them about this one? Because again, the Pictums are going to sell out.
Yeah, the Pictums are going to sell out. It's almost not even needed to be on the 10 at 10 video, but
maybe we should hide some stuff.
Right. Hey, you Pictum lovers, we brought another Pictum back.
Acer Pictum Naguri Nishiki. This plant is one of the widest Acer Pictums. It's one of our favorites here at Mr. Maple. When we first did our Usugumo video, people looked in the background and they said, now what is that plant? And it was Naguri Nishiki.
I've got about 5 or 6 of these planted out in the ground myself. I'm only typically allowed to keep 2 of anything because we have 1,400 varieties. So I am quite partial to Naguri Nishiki. It's one of my favorite Acer Pictums. Maybe my all-time favorite. You know, there's a few that might give it a run there, but it might be my all-time favorite Pictum. I love this one for its consistency on that white spring color. When this one leaves out in the spring, exceptionally white variegation. It brings you everything you like about Ukigumo. I would say even a little bit more consistent than Ukigumo.
And it does hold that white later in the season than most plants too. I mean, it does get some green with white speckles late in the season, but it's going to be the whitest of any maple late spring to early summer.
Yeah.
And I remember Mark Wethington went to Japan.
Yeah.
And after he went to Japan, he emailed me and said, hey Tim, have you seen this plant? Do you have it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah. And great sizes these too. I mean, we're barely getting these on camera. This one's every bit of over 3 foot. So some great sizes on this one. Grafted onto truncatum, so the Pictums are exceptionally heat tolerant and durable. These are going to work zones 5 through 9. That said, they are more humidity and heat tolerant than a lot of your other variegated plants. You still want to give any of the all white ones some shade, probably in your zone 8 and zone 9 conditions.
Yep.
You're going to hold your colors much better. I have Naguri Nishiki in full sun here in zone 6B, and mine is exceptionally white every spring. And as it gets into later May, early July, we start to fade to a lighter green with white speckling. But I mean, it holds that color so consistently.
Now we've grafted these to Acer truncatum, so they're going to be have a very good root system underneath them to make them very heat tolerant. Sometimes people graft them to Acer pictum to Acer platanoides, and for people in the deep south,
not quite as good.
They're not quite as heat tolerant on the root systems. But Naguri Nishiki, great plant all around the country.
Guys, maybe my favorite pictum. There's a top secret one we're working on that might give it a run for its money, but that one might be my all-time favorite.
So next up, we've got some large 1 gallons of Acer palmatum Kuranajishi, the red lion's head.
Love Kuranajishi, always a classic. This one is amazing for its structure and form. It also is kind of almost in that Makawa family for how tight it is. The shape is kind of between Makawa and a lion's head. We call it the red lion's head, but it's a nice dwarf with very compact growth. It's a little smaller growing than lion's head. Now you get some great fall colors. We're a little past fall color here now when we're shooting this, but you get some really nice fiery orangey reds in it as well.
Now, Kuranajishi, typically for us, a 2-year 1 gallon, is about 6 inches. I mean, It's a slow growing plant. So these are some of the largest 1 gallons we'll be offering on MrMaple. They're fantastic sizes. They're really the size people would take to a 3 gallon because these are giant, large 1 gallons for the Kuranajishi.
We're putting up some greenhouses. We may take some of this larger material 2-3s soon. But yeah, don't sleep on these. These are amazing sizes, rarely seen in 1 gallons at this size. Very healthy, robust plants, and I think you're going to love it. You're probably familiar with Kuranajishi. We've done several takes on it here on our website or on our YouTube channel. So if you watch us, you've probably seen us talk about Kuranajishi before, but bringing it back in the big sizes.
Yeah, the red lion's head, it's one of those plants that it was mythological for years.
Right.
I mean, people are like, did you know there's a red Shishigashira, there's a red lion's head in Japan? And every nurseryman had to get a hold of it. And this plant has really lived up to the hype. I mean, it's a good plant. It's got that red leaf to it, that sort of different color red, more of that brick red color.
Right.
And that twisting leaf really gives it that same Shishigashira-like appearance.
Right.
But with red leaves.
I have it planted in my Makawa garden. Now, granted, I have a Shishigashira plant in there as well. I have this one right behind the Shishigashira to kind of add that color contrast with it. It's just a fun plant.
Now, it does go to green more midsummer. We always get people midsummer, they say, hey, is this the right plant? Yes, it's the right plant. It does go to green midsummer, but that brick red spring color is amazing.
And you still get really bright pink to red new growth on top of that.
The fall color, I mean, it's electric. I mean, it really gives you some bold oranges in the fall, oranges to reds.
Excellent candidate for bonsai or container culture. Perfect fairy garden plant here as well. Man, look at the size on these.
Yeah, these Kodomaru are amazing.
So next up we have Acer palmatum Kodomaru. Again, rarely offered in this size. This is a true dwarf, one of the smallest of any of the kind of hime styles.
Those witch's brooms, yeah.
Yeah, this one's a broom instead of being that way, so it even is dwarfer. But it reminds me of that Kiyohime, Murasaki Kiyohime defined trait, but with a shortened center node.
Now, you may have not seen this on MrMaple in this large of a size, and that's because these are extremely large 1 gallons once again. I mean, just like the Kuranajishi, these are giants for Kuranajishi. I mean, we've had plants in our display garden that were 10 years old that were no taller than 3 feet by 3 feet. And
true dwarf, awesome plant. One of my favorite brooms. I mean, it's just one of the smaller plants you can be growing. It's a really nice, dense habit to it. Really an awesome compact broom. This one works great in a container garden. Anywhere you want a small tree, this one's going to look great. And starting you out here with some really robust sizes.
Yeah, some really large 1 gallons in those for sure.
Next up, we've got Acer palmatum Shigi no Hoshi.
I remember seeing the original one of these at Tsukasa Maple. It was in a container there, and it's a selection by Yataka Tanaka at Tsukasa Maple. It is one of the slowest growing, most dwarf versions of like a ghost type of reticulated Japanese maple.
The one there at Tsukasa Maple was the original. Now, it was probably still in something around a 10-gallon size container, and it wasn't much more than 5 to 6 feet, and that's the oldest one ever.
Yeah.
Now, it might grow a little faster for us that in the ground, but you're talking a 5 to 6 footer. Very compact dwarf, reticulated veining on this one. Leaves out a really nice lush green, like a light green with that heavy eye to it. Huge fan of this one. It's the perfect dwarf reticulated form.
Yeah, it is. It goes to a nice bold yellow, maybe some oranges late on this as a reticulated type. Great container plant, extremely slow grower. It's a plant that I knew that was like a bucket list plant for us.
Right.
And this is a plant that is so unique and so different. Make sure to give Shigi no Hoshi some protection from the hot afternoon sun in most climates. But this is a plant that if you give some morning sun, afternoon shade, you're going to really pick up those veining in the reticulation and really get the best growth rate out of this plant.
Now, guys, this is a perfect pairing if you got one of those Amagi Shiguris earlier in the season. We've had that on a previous 10 at 10. Perfect pairing with Amagi Shiguri. Excellent container plants, excellent variegation, both being dwarfer trees. They look great together. And they really just give you everything you love about the Ghost series in a smaller size.
Yeah, that's what I love about Shigi no Hoshi. It's so unique, different, and a newer selection from Japan.
Is there anything awesomer than Gossamer? We've got Acer japonicum, Gossamer, and hey, I'm beating a dead horse here, but you're never going to see them in bigger sizes than this in 1 gallons. We've got some awesome size 1 gallons. Darn near ready for 3 gallons again on these for a type. Now, these are typically almost 3 to 4 year sizes to get this kind of age range for us. Awesome plant. A little bit of fall color hanging on here still. This one's going to be a green going to exuberant fall color. I mean, it's not uncommon to have reds, yellows, and oranges all in this almost fairy hair X japonicum in the fall.
If you look right now at this red fall color, you really think of that Bugs Bunny character Gossamer.
Right.
that villain from Bugs Bunny.
Right.
But this is one of the slowest growing Acer japonicum selections. I remember going and seeing the original Acer japonicum Gossamer with Billy Schwartz. And it was slightly smaller than this 1 gallon. He had it in a 3 gallon.
Right. And that was the original seedling. They do grow faster grafted.
They do, but they're still extremely slow growing.
Yeah.
Extremely slow growing.
3 feet even in 10 years max. I mean, a very old one.
So these are some fantastic sizes for Gossamer. This makes a great container plant, great for the fairy garden, great for small places in the landscape, great for conifer beds. Small conifer beds. I mean, this is such a unique plant. Sometimes this plant in the springtime can get a real silver hue to it too in the new growth.
Very unique.
And it can really shine and have an extra shine to it.
I like to think of this one as almost like Green Cascade X fairy hair. Like the meeting ground between those two things. So if you like Green Cascade and fairy hair, we got your plant for you. This one's super funky, super interesting, awesome container plant. One of the more fun japonicums you can be growing. One of the most unique Acer japonicums as well. Go back and check out our video on Gossamer. It's a good video. I don't think it's getting that many views, but they're much smaller than this.
And being that this is an Acer japonicum selection and it's a thread leaf type, I mean, it's an extreme lace leaf, give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun for the best growth rate because it is a slow grower. You're going to want to get the best growth rate out of it you can. Make sure to give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun. So next up, we've got Acer palmatum Dark Ghost.
Oh, awesome plant. This one we consider part of the OG Ghost series because Talon Buchholz named it, and he named it Ghost. So it doesn't fit with the new Ghost since he put Ghost on it. It's an original Ghost series member. So a lot of you may need Dark Ghost to complete the series there now. He added it to it, not us, but it's an awesome plant. This one is one of the darkest veining and darkest foliage types. We're actually, hanging on to a little bit of fall color left over here, and it's a little more pink red right now, but this one's going to leaf out like black red.
And with Talon retiring soon, this may be the last Ghost. Like the last Ghost, official Ghost of the Ghost series. Love this plant though. I mean, it's one of the darkest of the Ghost series, and it really gives you a deep purple color with that reticulated veining. Right now in the fall color, we can even see a little bit of the reticulation in there, even right now in the fall.
Right.
An amazing plant, and definitely a good addition to the Ghost series.
It's so dark, it's interesting for us, it actually gets more purple-pink in the fall color. So it actually lightens up in the fall color instead of darkens up.
Yeah.
Because that that regular color is already so dark that the tree actually gets lighter in the fall.
Love this plant. It's definitely a really cool plant. Makes it more of an upright tree, which makes it a great mid-sized Japanese maple for most people's landscape. Pair that with something like a summer gold, and it's going to really, really pop.
Yeah, shout out to the late, great Margie Jenkins. Margie Jenkins is no longer with us, but she is one of those pinnacle people in Southern horticulture. And this is one Don Shadow named for Margie Jenkins, and he's calling it Little Margie. So you guys are going to have to beat Alan LaFoe to this. It's one of his, not Alan LaFoe, Alan Castile. Alan Castile is one of his favorite plants. Alan Castile is going to scoop all these up before you guys, but one of Alan's favorite plants to be growing there in the garden. Shout out to Alan LaFoe, too, for no other reason than we like you, Alan LaFoe.
Yeah, Don Shadow was actually down visiting Margie Jenkins, and this was a chance seedling growing at her farm. And so you saw it sometimes in the nursery trade under the name Jenkins. You saw it sometimes under the name of Margie Jenkins. And then Little Margie is the official name that Don put on it. Amazing plant with a purple border, real slow grower. One of those Hime types that's extremely rare in the nursery
family. It was a seedling found at Margie Jenkins' place, and just really cool overall plant. Very nice border. One of the brightest borders, I'll say.
Yeah.
The border is distinguishably one of the most intense on this. But really cool plant for sure to be growing, and always cool to be offering plants named by Don Shadow. There you go.
Thanks, bro.
From one named by Don Shadow to one named by Matt Nichols, we've got Hot Blonde.
Yeah, Hot Blonde is an Acer Oliveranum X. This is one of our introductions. If you don't know about Hot Blonde, go check out our full video on Hot Blonde. This is one of our favorite Japanese maples, and it's a Japanese maple hybrid with a Chinese maple.
Yeah, we've had great success with this one. Now, we do list this one zone 6 through 9. We are trialing it in zone 5. We may update to be a zone 5 plant later. We've had great success so far, but we want to put a few more years in before we truly call it a zone 5. This is one of my favorite spring trees. Jim Putnam of HortTube came here and said, "What's your favorite Japanese maple?" And I cheated. I picked the Chinese maple, but I named this one after my wife. It's a Chinese maple X Japanese maple, so it kind of fits in that category. One of the best trees we'll ever name here at MrMaple. If we were ever going to patent a plant, it probably would have been this one. Excellent growth rate, golden yellow spring color, and unrivaled pink-red fall color.
You know I love the yellow, and this thing brings the yellow in high heat. I mean, we've got customers down in South Carolina,
in
Bishopville, growing this tree in full sun. We've got customers in Charleston, South Carolina, growing this in full sun, and it grows fantastically.
Yeah.
Gives you excellent yellow color.
Over a 1.5 foot of growth a year should be expected in hotter zones.
Excellent yellow color in the spring and the summer. And then the fall color is an electric, bright orange red, pink red. I mean, it just pops out in the landscape. And the contrast between the yellow spring color, and it'll even have a little bit of a red border when it does that. I mean, it looks like a painting out there.
Right.
And then the fall color with that makes this tree a dynamic tree for the landscape. Everywhere we go, this is the tree that's hyping up that people are like, yeah, I need a Hot Blonde. Yeah, I need a Hot Blonde.
Guys, if you're watching this and you haven't seen Jim Putnam's video on Hot Blonde, go to that video and tell him Matt and Tim sent you, and you love Acer Oliveranum Hot Blonde.
Thanks, bro.
So last up, but certainly not least, we've got Acer Palmatum Kotobuki.
Yeah, I love what Kotobuki does.
Can't even get this one in the shot.
I know, these are giants.
I'm about to hold the plant down to get it in the shot. These are massive.
Super large 1 gallons. Now, Kotobuki is one of the Reno styles that puts on the most pink all across this plant. And in the springtime, when this thing pushes pink, it does fade to a white, but the pink flushes are more than any of the other Reno Nishiki styles. This one really puts a pop of color out there, and it's probably one of our most popular of the Reno Nishiki styles.
Oh, it's a great name, Kotobuki, and it's one of the very most intense pinks. I mean, it really brings the pink. There's a lot of white in there too, but it really brings it.
I mean, Kotobuki in Japan is like a Japanese drama, right? And this tree really brings the drama to the landscape and garden.
Huge fan of this. Again, rarely seen it this size. If we have them much bigger than this, we're probably sticking them into 3s for next year.
And you can really see the pink striations in the bark on this one too. If you prune these in late February, you can increase that pink striation in the bark. Late February, early March, right before those buds are starting to swell, or right as those buds are starting to swell, you can give it a light pruning back all across the tips, and it'll pop off with the most extravagant variegation, even over the top, more than it was going to.
Maybe we'll do a demonstration video on that this spring too, because we often recommend that for folks. You know, always let us know in the comment sections. Every single Friday, we're bringing how-to videos.
Yeah.
So if there's things you'd like to see on how-to videos, let us know in the comment section below. We can add those to our lineup for this winter.
And Kotobuki, again during the summer, brings it again during the summer with the secondary flush. Every flush of growth, this thing just brings amazing variegation. And so the springtime, excellent interest. The summer, excellent interest. And then the fall, this one can really give you some nice oranges to reds. So for a smaller Reno Nishiki style, this is a super large 1 gallon, but this one really brings the drama to the garden.
Yeah, awesome plant to be growing. And this one's going to work zones 5 through 9. I do recommend some late day shade in that heavy zone 8 and 9 for your best color. If you can get early morning sun, late day shade, typically with anything with more pink or white, you want to give those a little bit more late day shade for their best color.
Yeah, and so this has been a really cool assortment. We've got variegated, yellow, dwarf, reticulated, Japonicum dwarf, another dwarf, reticulated dwarf,
Right.
another dwarf, the red lion's head dwarf.
Okay.
I mean, we've got a variegated pictum and a variegated Seboldianum.
Pretty good lineup.
A pretty good lineup.
I mean, I'm not to our own horn, but it's a pretty good lineup. Let us know your favorite tree on the table in the comment section below. Also, let us know where you're watching from this morning. We're shooting this one early, so many of our employees might be leaving during the holiday season. So we probably are already out of leaf completely by the time you're seeing this. We want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. I hope you're enjoying maple content year-round. We're coming in soon on filming for 1 full year every single day. So please like, subscribe, and share. Our goal is to get to 15,000 before New Year's.
And if you need a super quick Christmas gift this year, you can order a MrMaple gift card to take to your office party for those white elephant Christmas gifts. So remember, you can always order that. That goes directly to your email, and then you can take that to the office party, and I'm sure it's going to be one of the biggest hits.
Oh, thanks so much, guys. We appreciate you guys. You guys make it worth doing. We appreciate your business. We appreciate all those people in the live chat. You make it so much fun for us. We get to be crazy plant people because you guys are crazy plant people, and we appreciate that. So y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Take care
God bless.
and have a great day.